Hi guys, welcome to Artpop Design Studio. This is a webinar. As you all know, you have been invited for this. There are few of my previous year students who have cleared design entrance exam, and these are students from last year and last to last year, and they are studying in colleges, in reputed colleges of design, and they have been called here so that they can share their experience of NIFT exam, NIT exam, any kind of design exam that they have done and cleared and got good ranks and have got good branches, and they are studying at the top colleges of India. So this is a session where I will be talking to each one of them one by one and asking what they did in the exam, how they attempted the questions and everything, and how they aimed at achieving the things they are at now. So that's what the webinar is going to be. So in the end, we will open the session for 15 minutes for doubts and your queries regarding anything which is related to design exam, design entrance, anything. We are there to answer everything for you. That's why we are doing this webinar only for a few selected people. And so we'll open that session up, and that's the time when you can ask your doubts and queries. So one by one, I'll start this conversation and having the webinar with them. So whatever we are talking, pay close attention to it, because you don't know how it might help you in your exam. Their experience is what matter in exam, because they have given this they have walked the same path as you, like I have, they have. People who do not know me, my name is Rimjhim Sharma. I graduated from NIFT Bangalore in 2016, and I'm the creative head of Artpop Design Studio, where we work completely on design education, design consultancy, and any kind of design internships, jobs, or these kinds of things. You can follow us on Instagram, you can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. We are available on all platforms, and you can reach out to us in our message box anytime. Okay, so let's start this conversation. Okay, first let's come to Mitushi, because she's the one I see here first. So, hi Mitushi, how are you?
Hi, ma'am. I'm good. How are you?
I am great too. Okay, so Mitushi, if I'm correct, you gave the exam last year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and how many design exams did you give? Because a design person is always giving a lot of exams, like engineering, they give PET, AIEEE, IIT, it's happening in design also now. So how many exams did you give?
I've given around 4 exams. Yeah.
Can you name those colleges
Yeah.
for
So I've
us?
given IIT Bombay ka UCD exam. I've given NID. I've given NIFT. I've given UID. Yeah.
Yes, and right now you are
I'm
in which college?
I'm in NIFT Mumbai.
You are in NIF Mumbai. Okay.
Yes.
So do you remember what you did in the exam?
Yeah.
Things that were important. We can start with any exam, whichever you feel. If it's NIFT you want to talk about, you can. How was your experience for the design exam? Anything.
So NIFT, when I went there, the exam started 15 minutes late because we didn't had an invigilator for the 15
Okay.
minutes. This is for the CAT, but eventually they came and we got our papers. And then in the starting, you need to write the brainstorming part in the rough part. You don't directly start doing the questions. So I did that, and each question I gave like 30 minutes around, so that I can get like extra time for everything. So if I have to come back to the question, and yeah, that way I gave proper time, because in NIFT you get aram say 1 hour for each question. There are 3 questions, but in other exams you don't get. You have to finish like the question in 15 minutes only, so you have to rush in there. But in NIFT you have ample amount of time, so you have to do your CAT properly. And then in GAT, GAT went good. So the strategy I followed was that you have to finish GK in 5 minutes, because it's just ticking the thing. So GK gets finished in five
Yeah,
minutes. So
in
you
GK
get,
you know the answer or you don't know the
yeah,
answer. So if you
exactly.
know the answer, you write it. If you don't know, you move on, because anyways it's how much, minus 2 point,
Five.
minus. Yeah,
Yeah, so you
0.25.
don't have to like attempt if you don't know the answer. So skip it. That would be better. And then I moved to English. Then I did a mental maths thingy, which is the logical reasoning. And then in the end, I went to the maths because maths I find is not my comfy thing. So I kept it for the last, and then I
It's no,
attempted
I
how much
don't think
ever.
it's anyone's thing. We are design students. That's why
Yeah,
we don't like maths,
exactly.
right? It's just 15 questions, I think, that will come in, and with minus marking. So why should I spend any time there, right? If I
Yeah.
know it, I know it, and that's how it should be. So can you talk more about CAT? What questions came in? Like, how did you attempt it? What answers did you give as a designer?
So in CAT, the first question was like a webinar. You have to give two choices of a webinar. So it could be according to you, however you want. So the question is like current situation based. That is somehow the question will come. It will come according to the current scenario. And how I gave it was that I didn't made a classroom. What I did was I made a
Okay,
mat.
so for everyone, we will specify the question, whoever is here. So
Okay,
the
yeah.
question was that, you are in a, imagine an online webinar has to happen like it is happening right now. And there were two boxes given, right? There were two boxes given, and you were told to, draw how you would want a webinar to be. Because what has happened last year is a lot of people just made right now what is happening, right? So this is happening, we know this is this is there. So I think you would have taken a different approach of showing two ways of how a webinar would look like.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't made a
Yes.
laptop or anything. What I did was I made like a house of a village a family, and what I did was I made this mat which projects holographic view of the teacher. So you have the teacher and the blackboard ka holographic view, and the kid is learning from home, and they can communicate like that. And so it's like a real life experience. The teacher is coming at your home to teach. So
Correct.
that's how I did it for the first box. And then for the second box, the same mat, there's a gym trainer coming at your house to train you. So you don't have to go to the gym again, but the trainer is at your house. So that was
Yeah, so your approach for this design question was that, you were making something completely futuristic which does not
correct.
exist. That's why,
Yeah,
you didn't, that's why you would have got more marks, because you were not going with the things that other people were doing, right? This is
right.
already happening. If why would they give you a question to see, what's already happening? Then in the next question, what did you do? Do you remember?
So we have to make emojis for five things like happy, sad, and they were like sleepy, confused. So for that, I made like a different emoji. Like I made the yellow emoji only, but I shouldn't have done that. Ma'am said that, but that's okay. But the emoji was like completely different, and I just made like this kind of confused face. I took confused and one more. I don't remember right now. So this confused face, and I made question marks on that. So that was how I did the second question. It
And
was
then
like,
there was
and
the
I
last question.
yeah. So the last question was to choose any instrument, and there were four small boxes for that, and you have to depict a festival for each instrument.
Instrument.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you have to use one instrument only. A lot of people made a mistake of using many instruments like one guitar, keyboard. No. So I took like dholak, the two set ka dholak, and then what the festivals I took were like very relevant to my culture. So like I'm from Rajasthan, so there's this festival called Gangor, so which is like a very uncommon, only Rajasthanis would know. So I made two Gangor things on that. So there's like Isar and Parvati. There's two gods basically. So I made those god faces on the dholak. And then I took Janmashtami again, which is like really relevant to my thing. And then I made like a matki thing on the dholak and like that. And then I took same way I took Ganesh Chaturthi, and there was one more I don't
Yeah, so
remember.
basically you chose
Yeah,
festivals that are not like Diwali, Holi, New Year, Christmas, because
yeah, Yeah.
what you will do in those questions, right? It's Indian culture, art and craft is a uh, part of the syllabus of exam for NIF because it's a design college in India. So if you
Right.
don't know the culture and art and music and all these things that are happening in India, you are not supposed to be a designer here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what you will do, right? So if you are taking things from your personal experience, which means, okay, in my family, we celebrate these festivals, and let me take a dholak because I can do a lot of things on it. I can design a lot of things on that rather than, just taking Christmas and taking a guitar and just making it green, yellow, and red. Sorry, green, red, and white of how Christmas is supposed to be. So I think these are good things that you did in the exam. And is there any, if I would ask you any two, um, 1 minute, is there any, kind of tips that you would want to give to these
Yeah.
people who are here
So in
appearing
the
exams?
exam, yeah, so be prepared like one day before only. You need your all the stationery things. So keep two of everything so that you don't have to run back to take them. And wear the
Now they
most
can't run back. It's online. They have to be in the
exactly.
same.
Exactly. So still it's the house, right? So they'll have the urge to go grab something. Yeah. Wear the most comfortable thing. You don't have to wear anything which is uncomfortable. Like pajamas, may you can give exam. There's nobody is going to judge. And practice your lines every day. Like there's only 5-6 days left, right? So you have to practice your lines every day and do brainstorming practice, like not in the NIFTCA questions, but your own self, like whatever you want to brainstorm. Just you can brainstorm like that, so that your brain is active. You don't
Can
stop.
you give them an example? Can you give them an example?
Okay. So you can take anything. So like whatever you're interested in. So like I'm interested in product stuff, right? So I can just imagine any problem that's going around, and then I can pick the problem. So like if there's a problem with my mother she's facing, so I can brainstorm on just sitting and
And create new
brainstorming.
products.
Yeah, just
Yes, that
create
will
new
increase
products
your
in your
designing
head.
skills. That will
Right.
increase your creative
Right.
power. So yeah, you can just
Keep
sit
your
today and
brain
you can
active.
be like, yeah, you know what, this bed is a little, not
Yeah.
comfortable for me. How can I, as a designer, make it more comfortable? Or, this space, I don't feel good in it. How can I? So you can just brainstorm on these little things that you would like to do because you don't need, n number of cat questions to increase your practice as a designer. You can
Exactly.
just start
Yeah.
solving anything that maybe I want my glasses to be better. How should they be
Yeah.
better, right? Because I don't feel like wearing them. So it can be any problem that you can take as a designer and try to solve those things.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mitushi. I will come back to you when we will start this thing again. Anushka, hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi. So Anushka, for me, for everyone to know, this is Anushka, and I think Anushka has done everything which is a right student does for giving an exam. Because with you, I have this experience where I know you have tried all the coachings because people do that. People will not leave anything. Even when I gave the exam, I searched about all coachings and all these kinds of things, and I roamed around all of India and I collected all papers, all things, everything that a person should do. There's a checklist, right, for giving an exam. And
Yes.
you have cleared NID, you have cleared NIFT, you have chosen where you would want to be, which is NIFT Delhi. And you have taken, I know you are that person who's very logical and very reasonable that, if I want to do this, I will take all these kinds of things that people of your age normally don't do. Like, they will check pros and cons of everything, that okay, should I do this? If I'll do this will happen. If I will do that, that will happen. So from you, I always get that kind of vibe that I know if she is doing something, she would be clear about it. She would have done her thorough research, which means she would know better than the person who is coming to teach her. So, the other person should also be prepared with everything. So, can you tell me your experiences of exam and everything?
Sure, ma'am. So basically, I have given three exams for design. The first one was UC, that is for IIT Bombay. The second was NIFT, and the third was NID. And I cleared all the three exams. But with UC, the problem was that I had not scored so much well, so I was not getting any IITs. And with NIFT and NID, it was my choice to go for NIFT Delhi. And the thing with the thing with me personally is I'm not so good at sketching. Okay, so I had this misconception that for to be a designer or to give a design exam, you have to be very good at sketching and those things. But later I understood that the main thing that matters is your concept, how you present it, how you execute it. Is it new, is it different, is it maybe weird, but it should be something, which is different, I believe. So for the NIFT exam, what I did for the CAT part, what I did was I went for the question which had I think the most number of marks, which was the last question. So the one of the most important thing which I understood about the design exam is you have to understand the brief properly. You have to read the question twice, thrice, n number of times until you understand everything, and note down like if it is written no, you should not use any colors, then note down in the rough space, okay, for this question I'm not going to use any colors. Like keep it in your mind, because sometimes it happens with me also that I did not read the brief properly, I jumped into the question, and then after making it I'm seeing that कि अरे इसमें तो colors use ही नहीं करने थे. So
Yeah,
that's
you
the
get
worst part.
impulsive and
हाँ
excited that, oh, this
हाँ
question I have done this before. Oh, I should do it
yeah
like
yeah
you.
yeah
Right. Oh, I should
yes
finish the question. Yeah,
हाँ.
that happens.
It's the excitement, and the thing is that yeah, you should not get excited too much, you should not get emotionally attached to a question, because that's very important. Happened with me all the times. I get attached to my designs and the artwork I'm making, and then the mentor or teacher is telling me that it's not up to the mark, and then I get, it's like i feel very I feel like they're criticizing me a lot. But the thing is that you should never get attached emotionally to a question, especially in design exams. So I jumped to the last question and I brainstormed about it.
Why
And
not attaching to it's important in design? In design, it's
ma'am,
important not to get attached because there's always a better answer, right?
yeah, because there's
Design can always be
huh,
improved. Design can always
exactly,
be
huh.
improved. If
There's
today
a
I have
space
this
for
bag,
improvement, huh.
yeah, I know I can get a better bag. I can design a better bag. It can have this. So it just then in design exam you have time as a constraint, that in this much time, how much can you think and how
Yeah,
much
that's the main thing.
can stretch. That's the only main thing in design exam. There's nothing else.
Because the thing is that अगर मेरे को एक दिन मिला है question के लिए, maybe I can make something better,
Of
but I'm
course.
getting only 10 minutes to think about it, and then I have to start making it. I have to start executing it, because execution is also very important. Na? Sometimes it happens we have a great concept and great idea in our mind, and then it goes like कि अरे ये तो line drawing जैसा बन गया, अरे it's not looking good, अरे
Of
what did I
course.
do? So
Yes,
this
yes.
is very common. So the last question was that instrument question, and I jumped into it because it was 40 marks, and I had this aim because see, gaining marks is also important in design exam. When you are learning,
That is the only thing which is important. It's a competitive exam. You
yeah,
need
yeah,
marks to get a rank, to get a good college. That's the cycle.
yeah. Maybe
So marks
after
are
two,
important.
3 years, it's like ki your skills are important and your idea is important. But right now, your marks are very important. You have to gain those 40. Maybe out of 40, you should gain 35 or 30 marks at least. So ऐसा aim होना चाहिए. And so basically what my idea was ki I also chose dholak kind of thing, because I felt like it was easier to sketch, and yes, we could have done many things with it. So what I did was I wanted to show, that India is a secular country, we have different religions, different cultures. So what I chose was I chose Christmas, which is a very common holiday, but I felt like it's showing a different religion. Then I chose Eid, Durga Puja, because I'm living in West Bengal, so I'm kind of connected with Durga Puja. And the last one was Chhat Puja, because I'm from Bihar, so I felt like I could represent Chhat Puja in a unique way. So what I did was basically the thing was the same. I made a dholok, I decorated it with different elements which I believe were from the festivals. And what extra thing I did was I added a small background to it. So for Durga Puja, I made like a Durga Ji, which is like, it was a very small box, extremely small. And then what I
Correct.
did was I added a background to it. Like for the Durga Puja thing, I made a small Durga Ji at the back of it. And then I showed people like standing, a lot of people standing like they're coming to give, respects to the god. Then for Christmas, I made a Christmas tree in the background. For Chhat Puja, I made a rising sun and banana tree in the background. Just like for Eid, I made the chand and the sky, all those things. So I felt like it gave a little bit more like it, like what I'll say is वो जो फेस्टिवल का एसेंस होता है वो इतने छोटे से इमेज में वो आ गया था. Like I was
Yeah,
feeling
because it
that
was
emotion.
required. Am I
हाँ.
audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So I was saying that, in the question brief, like you were talking, there are some keywords which are very specifically
Yeah,
written.
yeah.
And that's the requirement. And you write that if it's the festival, you have to show that what is the teacher asking. The teacher has lived more than you in India, right?
Yeah.
Who's taking your paper. She knows or he knows everything about festivals in
Everything.
India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then what
Yes,
do they
ma'am.
want to know? They want to know that in the past 18 or 19 years of your life, what experiences did you gain?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you didn't even gain experience of your own culture and your own experience, how will you change design perspective in India, or how will you become a designer in India? How will you solve problems in India if you don't
Yeah.
even know
And
about your own
the
culture,
other
your
thing
own
is,
festivals?
and the other thing is, whoever is checking, they're knowing everything. They know where you live. They know which is your birthplace. So it's the thing, right?
It's
Like it,
written, right? It's written in your
yeah,
form. It's
form.
written in
So
your form.
it gives a different kind of impact that yeah, this person is living in West Bengal. She knows about West Bengal. She is from Bihar. She knows about Bihar. So that's the thing. I
Correct.
think then I jumped to the first question, which was of 20 marks or something. So it was design a virtual space for a webinar. So I did not make anything futuristic. What I did was I picked two issues which were quite current. One was the farm laws. There was a big riot last year related to farm laws. And the other was, I think, something related to COVID. Yeah, COVID-19, the spread of the new variant or something like that. So yeah, so the first one I made, a Zoom meeting. I made just a screen. It was like more or less like a UI UX design for me. So I made a screen which was a bit different than Zoom meeting,
Can you
but
explain a little bit, like UI UX design is present everywhere? So basically, you were doing user interface and experience of the app,
app. Yeah,
right? Of the
exactly.
app,
Yes, ma'am.
app and a web.
Yes, ma'am.
How it will be, because at the end it will happen on app or web,
Web, huh?
right?
So what I did was I designed the layout of the app or the screen, whichever was there. It was very much like Zoom, but a bit different because I changed many elements. And I tried showing a man who was sick and he was sitting, and there was a big banner with farm laws and all those things, and there were many people going on. It was like a conversation or maybe a webinar kind of thing between different farmers. I wrote this farmer ka name from Bihar, this one from UP, like
Correct.
that. And after that, what I did was for the second one, which was the COVID variant, I made a caricature kind of thing of Arnav Goswami, and I made all those. I also made this dialogue box in which he was telling India wants to know that kab COVID se chutkara
Yeah,
milega,
of
and
course.
there were
Yeah, but
different people.
you made Arnab Goswami. You didn't write there, right? That this
No, no,
person is
no,
Arnab
never, never,
Goswami,
never. You
right? So you
cannot
did a
never.
character design of the whole thing. In design elements, what did you do in the question? That matters, right? You
Yeah,
designed an
yeah, that's
app,
very important.
there
I
you put
designed an
your
app. I
relevant,
designed a character.
yes, you design dialog boxes there, then you design the icons of the app, then you make sure that
Everything.
the topic is relevant, because if
It's
you are an
current,
18,
huh?
19-year-old right now and you are just busy in texting and seeing stories of other people, and
Exactly.
your life doesn't have these kind of people who talk about issues which are actually happening in reality, then you
Yeah,
will
yeah,
never
yeah.
be able to do anything like this,
Huh.
right? In your
Because
country right now,
personally,
COVID is happening.
yeah. Personally, what I feel like is these design exams are not only there to see our skills or our concepts or our designs, it's also there to see that if as designers we are aware of our surroundings, aware of what is going on. Because as designers, see, we are not artists, we are designers, we are problem solvers. We are solving great problems. So it's very important to understand what's going on in your society, to empathize with the people, and then maybe solve their problems if you're capable.
Yeah, that's your job. That's what you have chosen, right?
Yes,
That's what you
ma'am.
have chosen to be. You have chosen to be a designer. Being a designer means empathizing, means solving problems, means making life better for someone or for you or for your environment.
Yeah,
You can't exist as an artist. This is a design entrance exam, and these are design
yeah.
courses. Okay.
So it's very important to understand the difference between art and design, because when I make something in a form of art, I'm drawing something or I'm making a girl or anything. It's for my own pleasure. It's for my own, like freedom. There's a freedom of creativity there. Obviously, there's a freedom of creativity in design also, but there are some restraints. There are some things like some boundaries which you have to follow. So that's the difference, what I believe, between art and design.
Okay, correct, of course. So tell me five things, five quick tips if they want to clear design exams.
The first thing is like be confident but emotionally detached. Don't get too excited. Like if you know it, oh my god, I did this and I'm going to make the same thing. No, read the brief thoroughly. Understand each and
What
every
is the
word.
brief? People don't know what's design brief. Brief is
Okay,
the question.
question. Sorry,
Brief is
sorry.
the
I
question.
started using these words. Read the question thoroughly. The fourth one is execute it properly, because the thing is that बस अच्छे concept matter नहीं करते, execution matters. And the fifth one, which I believe will be time management. It's very important. Keep in mind you have just 3 hours. 3 hours बहुत नहीं होते हैं. For 3 questions you'll think that अरे 1 घंटा मिल रहा है, let's आराम आराम से करो. नहीं होता है वहां पे जाके. It's like 2 hours. You'll feel like कि 1 hour ही है, सब करना होगा. That the feeling, like it's the feeling which we get inside when you start making. It's like, oh my god, 1 hour is gone and I'm still stuck in the first question. So time management is very important.
You should know when to leave a question and move on.
Yeah, that's also
When it's
important.
done. You should know when it's done. It's done now. This is the brief. I have done this much.
uh,
Time for the next question. Time for the next question. And then if you have time, you come back to all and start adding things and all. Right.
because
So
sometimes
that's
this situation arises, right, ki hum first question mein stuck and we take 3 hours and we keep beautifying it and making it better, but then we see that time is gone and the other 2 questions are left. So एक question तो आपको pass नहीं करवा देगा ना. You have to attempt all of them.
yes, correct. Good. Thank you, Anushka. I'll come back to you again. Thank you for
Sure,
this.
ma'am. You're welcome.
Let's move on to Aryan. Hi, Aryan.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Aryan. You come from a very different culture, different all those kinds of things. And you can you tell us a little about your journey? Which means when did you decide why do you want to become a designer and why should I give this exam?
Yeah,
Was there any
actually,
process?
to be honest, firstly, I thought of being a designer because I didn't want it to study. Like
Yeah,
I can't study book like for IITs, and my family was pushing me to do like MBBS or prepare for NEET. But I was like, I know myself, I can't remember the formulas and chemistry and all, so I am leaving that aside. So I chose this like because I was a very creative kind of person in class. Also, I used to like destroy the like drawings in the book. Like I used to scribble on the books only,
yeah,
and
of
I got
course.
scolded from my teachers also during the classes. So yeah, I thought that, but when I got into this, I realized that no, it's not what I exactly thought. But I was liking this field. I like I was in love with this field. That yeah, I'm comfortable for this field, and I am made for it. So I continued with this field. So yeah.
Okay. And did you give all exams?
No, actually, my only goal was this NIF, just NIF. And to be honest, during my initial days, like when I used to talk with my friends, like they were also giving NIFT, so they were like, I'm giving this exam second time. So I was like, if everyone is giving second time, so I will also give second time because I'm very unconfident type of person. So I thought if I have to give second time, then chill, and I
Okay,
will
yeah,
prepare
there's the
like.
age limit, right? Age limit is 23. That means you can give exam again and again. You can give it three times, four times.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
But
it's a good
what
process.
happened when 1 month was left, I realized like an enlightenment happened. I regretted that what I done. I should have studied and got into better college and saved my 1 year. Like 1 year is like very
Too
much.
much.
So yeah, so in that 1 month, I prepared day and night. My mother was like, "Please go outside and take some fresh air." But I was like, "No, I have to study. I have wasted lots of time in taking fresh air. Now I will utilize all that fresh air."
And
So
that,
I
Aryan, that
prepared.
sitting habit is required, right? Like, I am also a person, I can't sit in one place and imagine my job has turned to be where I have to sit in one place. Then I realized that for designing, you will have to sit because how you think, right? How you will think.
Actually, no, the thing is, I didn't need any motivation to sit because I come from very like non-financially unstable kind of family. So I
Of course.
used to look at my father as my inspiration because he used to wake up at like go to his shop at 7 and come at late at night at 10. So I was like, if he is doing for me, so I should also give
Do
time on
for
my
me,
study.
yes, for my own self at least. If not for others, I can
Yeah,
at least sit for 2 hours and take out that time for my own self, right?
yeah.
Leave
So
others,
I
but it's
got
for my own.
motivation from that, and yeah, I prepared for it. And so what I did was for math, I made like for like I solved every chapters because I know lots of people don't feel comfortable with math, but I can tell you that if it's like basic 8th class math, if you sit with it, you can easily solve it because I don't even remember the table of 12, 13, 14. If you ask, I will like write it and multiply
Yeah, I will
12
also
with
calculate like this on my
yeah.
hand.
But still maths was like the pretty easiest type of thing when I tried it. So I made a list of formulas just for my like last time exam because in last like when very less time is left, if you just have to look at this formulas because it's all formula based, you just have to look at it, like put the numbers in that formula and the answer will come automatically. So I made a list of formulas so that I can like recall it at the end moment when I have to give exam. So I made that. And for GK, GK what you have to do. So I don't have to really tell because you all have to study like plethora of
Yeah, GK is
information. You have to
something
take notes.
natural. You
Yeah,
can't, there's no syllabus for it. If you are interested in what's happening in the world, what's happening everywhere, you will know it. If you're not
yeah,
interested, you will never know what's happening in your country or in the world. So
yeah.
that's GK and current affairs. Yeah.
Yeah, and reasoning is like pretty easy. It's just a mind game. You have to put your thought into it and it will already come out. And for the cat, I will have two tips for you guys. That first thing, as Anushka told, read the question carefully because this happened with me also. The last question, as you recall, that it was about to make instrument based on the festivals. So what I did was I made two different instruments. First, like initially, I started with two different instruments. I made drum and guitar. Then like one of student asked to the teacher that if this question is asked for one instrument only or two instrument? Then she was like, no, you have to make only one instrument. So I was like, what have I done? What should I do? So I transformed that guitar into drum, and it went like very pretty. It was looking very creative because obviously it was looking different, so it was creative. So this is the first tip I will give. And second thing for the cat, that
Yeah, so this tip is that design is supposed to change. Like when you are 1 minute, when you are when you are giving design exam, it's open to changes, which means like if I have read the question and I start drawing and have imagined it like that, it's not supposed to be like that. In middle, something can change, your idea can generate, and you should be open to changes in design always. And anyways, now if you change in the middle and you had a better output, then okay. But people asked in your class, right now it's online, so there will be a chat section where they can ask the question and things. But as a designer, it should not happen. That's a question which should be read very carefully, and it should be answered as it is, because the words are very clear in Hindi and English both. They are written, right?
yeah. And if doubt, please ask to the teacher who is present in that
Yeah.
meeting. So yeah, you should ask if any, like even if it's a small doubt, you should ask to the teacher, because he will give a better explanation. So yeah, this was the first thing. And second thing, don't just stick to the one criteria of cat, because for me, I was like, I thought this perspective thing, because I know you must have been practicing for the perspective.
No, I don't. I have removed perspective from the syllabus only. I
Yeah,
don't teach
that's because
perspective.
I was stuck with the perspective only and the color grids. And when the exam happened, I saw everyone's reaction that there's perspective and color grid. And like I was pretty happy, because I knew that like many people have that kind of artistic skill that they will make a like realistic kind of perspective. So I was happy. And yeah, so you should don't stuck with only one criteria
Yeah,
for
because
drawing.
if they wanted you to make in perspective, they will write, please make this drawing in perspective only. And which designer works? Like, it's not an architecture exam, na?
Yeah,
Perspective is taught so that if a person who doesn't know drawing can draw better, right? But again, it's like, how do you want to present your idea? You're presenting your idea, can be a doodle, can be a sketch, can be a write up, it's a blank space, you can do anything in that, however you want to do. It can be a simple line drawing of a front view, right? It can be that also. If your idea
yeah,
is not good and it's average, and you are making perspective and 3 point and 2 point all this, or where is it written in the syllabus? I really want to know. Is it written in the syllabus on the website or this? It's not. So
yeah.
yes, after that, what happened? Tell me, Aryan.
Yeah, so the thing is like, what I did in, so should I explain the what I did in the question?
Yes, please do. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So the thing is, I'm like, time management thing, I suffered with it. So I'm telling you that first question I left, that because I didn't understood that first question. So I left because I didn't want to waste my time just to understand that question. So the second question I started with, it was basically to make an emoji based on like various emotions were given. So I chose that sleepy one. So what I made, I knew that many people will make that yellow smiley face, they will modify that yellow smiley face. So I went to the I made a human, like half a portion of human. And it was like he because when we feel sleepy, we our eyes used to blink automatically, it used to close.
Yeah,
So what I did is, like we used to say, no, my eyes are
I'm
feeling heavy.
drowsing. I'm
Yeah,
feeling heavy.
that word I took, and I drew a string along with the eyelid. The eyelid was closed, and the string I drew like attached to the eyelid. And at the end of the eyelid, I made a 2 kg of weight. I made a weight and written it 2 kg. That represent
Yeah,
that, yeah, your eyes are keep like heavy and you can't
dropping
keep your,
down.
yeah. So that was the thing I made for the sleepy. And then I went to the third question, which was to make an instrument. And I have already shared what tragedy happened, so I'm like explaining what I did, that I chose drum. And the criteria I solved it was I listed down many festivals and what are the main festivals in India. So
I think he's he must be
sorry.
getting a call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I listed down what things used to happen, because every festival has its specific kind of feature, because that in Diwali we used to burn crackers and all, and Onam there used to happen boat race. So I listed down these things. So I used those specific features to depict that instrument. Like Onam boat race used to happen. So I transformed that boat into a drum, that the drum will be of boat shape, and you will like press on it and it will sound like a drum. And for Diwali I used transform the crackers as drums. I the like the crackers I made at the base of the striking thing. And for the sticks I made it as a rocket shape, because it also is like sticks. So I made
Yeah.
the sticks as a rocket shape. And third festival I took was Eid. Like lots of like non-vegetarian diet happens in this Eid, I guess. So I transformed that like the base of the drum I made it with a large piece of like cutted piece of chicken. And the stick I made with the leg piece shape. So yeah, that's
That's over creativity. That's why you cleared
these
the
things,
exam. Basically,
yeah,
that's over creativity, and that is required. So now, if you will think about what Aryan did in the paper, it requires, one question you can crack the paper with,
exactly.
right?
And
In that emoji, one, if that two things he has made, I am very sure this person can do anything in the design field. Like if I have to check his paper and he has done these things, then it doesn't matter in webinar one what he did in this. In that one question, I could know everything about this person, that he can
yeah,
think and create and come up with new ideas, because I'm saying from a teacher or a mentor perspective,
yeah.
right? So
Fourth,
that's why.
fourth festival I took was Makar Sankranti, and I transformed that kite into guitar. I told the tragedy. Then I transformed it into a drum. It was like I made two bases of, like it was a string based. So I transformed it like that. That I made a curved base at the base of the kite shaped guitar, so that it looked like a drum, and like lots of other modifications I did,
Yeah.
but I won't be
Question
able
was
to.
to design an instrument based on taking inspiration from festival. So
Yeah,
designing an instrument means you have to make it not as it already exists. You can
yeah,
keep the same
exactly.
elements. Like if it's a guitar, of course, someone will be playing it like this and there will be strings, but the other things can be changed
Yeah.
as much as you would want.
But for these question, I took all the time, and for the first question, only 20 minutes was left. So I did a smart work, that I, for the webinar, I used whatever I practiced for the poster making, because I have made lots of poster making for various topics. So I chose two topics that I have drew during my preparation time. So I made those posters. I don't remember the topics actually. I think one was poverty, and the other thing was, I don't remember. It was like a prisoning type of thing, but I don't remember the topic. But I
But
used
you
those
shifted that
posters.
into a webinar.
Yeah, I use those posters as the background, because when webinar happens, like they used to change their background. So the poster will be the basic background, and I made that section of the mentor. And yeah, that's how I completed two webinar like posters in just 20 minutes.
Yeah, I hope everyone who is there in this session, that three of these people gave the exam 3 times and you have listened to three of their answers and they are completely different. And those, if three of them made the same thing in the exam, they would have never got the seat, because why will I give 30 special seats of product design, accessory design, fashion design, textile design, knitwear design to 30 people who think the same, right? I don't want that kind of bhed chal which is going, right? I want people with their own opinions in the college so that they can create different things. That's why your mind in the exam should work according to your own mind. You should, it's a blank space, you should be able to do anything. So Aryan, one tip if you have to give
Yeah,
to
one
crack
last
the
tip.
exam.
Yeah, not like all the tips I have given related to the exam, but when you come out of the exam, please list down the problems and the issues in or any topic you faced. Because if you don't know that if you will get selected or you will give it second time, third time. So list down all the problems that you faced and what topics in what topics you face the problem, because when you start preparing after a month or 2 months, you don't remember that what problems you faced at that time of giving exam. So just roughly write all those problems, so that if you are giving again, so then you can improve on those topics. Yeah, that's the thing I will like to say.
Correct. We have people here in this meeting who are giving the exam the second time. So it's not something bad, or it's everyone gives. Like, it's that's why exam is being made so that you can learn from it, experience, and you can give it
Yeah,
again. So there's nothing wrong in it completely. Thank you, Aryan,
thank you so much,
for
ma'am.
saying such things.